And welcome to another Cardinals Nest here on HBC TV 25. This is the show devoted exclusively to St. Mary's University and our athletic programs. I'm Dean Beckman, joined once again by my co-host Donnie Netto. Donnie is the Sports Information Director for St. Mary's. And today on the Nest, we're going to feature men's hockey. A little bit later on in the program, we'll have senior captain on the show, Austin Arnold. But first, we welcome head coach Bill Moore. And Bill, we've reached the point of the season now, the last regular season of the 2018 and 19 season. And as usual, Bill, lots of jockeying to get into the playoffs and for positioning if you get in the playoffs. And that's going on not just with St. Mary's, but throughout the conference, right? This is kind of the mad dash to the finish line.
It is. In fact, it's funny. The only team that's been eliminated from playoffs in our conference is the 6th place team. And the 7th, 8th, and 9th all have a shot yet. But the 6th place team has finished their schedule and doesn't play any games this weekend, so they don't have any opportunity to get extra points. But anyone else can still make playoffs.
You know, Coach, we talk about it in all of the sports that we have. The MHKY is so balanced, and really, I think hockey is probably more so than any. As you just said, you're looking at 9 teams in the conference, and 8 of them are still battling for a playoff spot. You've put yourself in position. That's what you always say you want to do, is be in position to control your own destiny and make that 5-team field. Talk a little bit about where you're at and expectations for this weekend.
Sure. Well, we currently sit in 5th place, which puts us in the playoffs. To lock that in and really clinch it, we need 1 win from the weekend. So there's other scenarios too where we could tie and this and that, but really and truthfully, if it's in our own it's our own destiny, we just need to win a game. So we win a game and everybody else is out of it. Other than that, I think there's 14 scenarios right now where different teams could get in if this happened or that happened, or who knows. But right now, all we care about is we need 1 win out of 2.
Well, and you know, we're going to talk to Austin Arnold later. He's the business intelligence and analytics major, and I'm no analytics guy, but as I look at things, you say you need 1 win out of 2. All you have to do is follow the pattern that you've been on, right? Win-loss, win-loss. In fact, the last 6 series have been win-loss. Win on Friday, lose on Saturday.
Yeah.
So I think that Friday game, because it's at home too, and we'll have it right here on HBC TV 25, becomes very critical.
It does become critical, and not saying that we can't win on Saturday, because we obviously can, but we're playing in our building. We're playing on an Olympic-size rink, which is our forte, and we have the home crowd in our corner. So I am fully expecting to come out and playing a big game and putting us where we need to be.
Bill, talk a little bit about the season leading up to this weekend. You know, as Dean mentioned, it's kind of been a little bit of a roller coaster up and down, but you know, I think that you guys have battled some injuries, you guys have battled some illnesses. Talk a little bit about how the season has gone leading up to this weekend against Olaf.
Yeah, it's been weird, that's for sure. Well, first of all, it started out where we have the hardest schedule in the NCAA, according to the rankings, with 17 freshmen and sophomores, because we graduated 14 last year. So we started out with the showcase, then we went into 2 ranked teams, or 1 ranked team twice, and then we went into 2 ranked teams with Stevens Point and Eau Claire, went right back to another ranked team with Augsburg, and then finished with another ranked team with St. John's. So our first half of our semester was really tough. And then we came back and we played well. We've been very short-handed. We've had maybe 3 days all second semester that we've had everybody at practice. And we've had a couple of games where we didn't even dress the maximum that we could dress because we didn't have anyone available. But I think that shows the drive of our players, the commitment of our players. When somebody goes down, someone else steps up. And we're pretty excited about the group of guys that we have and the future that we have going forward. You
know, one of the things that Friday also brings, not only are you playing for a playoff spot, but it also brings an end to the home career for 2 seniors in Austin Arnold and Ryan Charco. Talk a little bit about what they've meant to this team, really to this program over the last 4 years.
Heart and soul. I mean, that's all I can say is Both of them, you look at Austin and Ryan, they started their careers out at freshman, in and out of the lineup, and just busted their butt and busted their butt. And Arnie has been an everyday player now for 2.5, 3 years, and our best defensive defenseman and our captain, unbelievable leader. I really, really respect the way he expects the most out of himself, and then he holds the others accountable to that as well. And I couldn't ask for a better captain. Ryan Charco has just worked and worked and worked and worked, and he has done anything and everything we wanted, from filming his freshman year when he didn't play very much at all, to now he's got a 2-game scoring streak going. And you know, he has really, really had a tremendous senior year, and he's been the guy kind of that we've been lining up against other teams as first lines, because he's just so critical in the defensive end.
You know, we'll talk to Austin about this when he comes on the show, but you know, that leadership that you were talking about from the 2 seniors, I think a lot of that, Bill, does have to do with some of the players you bring into the program, and they had good people to look up to who were their leaders at one time, and now, so they learn from them, and now they're just kind of following suit, right?
Well, and thank you, but that is true what we've tried to create with that culture. And we know that we need to be the leaders on campus. We are the oldest group of student athletes on campus. We need to act like it, and we need everybody on campus to see that our guys are gentlemen and scholars, and if they don't have that, we don't want them in our program.
You know, one of the things that I think kind of gets overlooked, we talk so much about the hockey and the kids, students, and also players, but you know, all of the volunteer work that they do. I know the men's hockey program is one of the top volunteer organizations on our campus. Talk a little bit about why that is, why you expect so much out of your players from a volunteer standpoint.
Well, I don't really think we're expecting that much out of them. I ask each player to put in 10 hours a year. And when you do that over a 30-man roster, you can put 300 hours in, and now all of a sudden you can make a difference in some places. But I think the 2 things are, one, hockey is an expensive sport, and the school has done a nice job of giving us an environment in which we can be successful, and we owe back to that. And I think that anytime that we can help others in return, it's not only going to help us with the way people view us on campus, but it also makes us better people. And I think that down the road, I hope that everybody has volunteering in their life, and they make that a priority. But I think it's just a way to give back for all of the things that we're thankful for that we get.
You know, earlier we asked you for your perspective on the season. In a little bit, I want to ask specifically about St. Olaf and what you see from them as you prepare for them this weekend. But before we get to that, what has surprised you about the year? Not necessarily individuals. I'm just talking more as a team. What maybe have been some pleasant surprises for you from this team?
Well, I think the most pleasant surprise is our penalty killing. Last year, we were one of the bottom 5% in the country in penalty killing, and all of a sudden this year, with younger guys and some of the same guys, we have just clicked. And I think right now we're killing at almost 85%, which in a normal situation, you hope your power plays at 20%, you hope your penalty kills at 80%, so that you're at 100% or better in special teams. But our penalty killing is really what has surprised me the most of anything, and I couldn't be prouder of the guys, because all that is guts. People who are willing to block shots, people that are willing to work hard. There's not a ton of skill involved in penalty killing. It's all heart.
And then let's get to St. Olaf now. You've got them for a couple of games this weekend. We've already talked about the importance of those games. So what are the challenges that St. Olaf brings?
I think the biggest thing is that St. Olaf never quits. They are, you know, not the top of the league when it comes to skill level. But they never quit. They work hard. They're all over you all the time. We're going to have to play fast. We're going to have to move the puck quickly, or their forecheck is going to give us challenges. They will be very tough in the defensive zone, physical, and also blocking shots. So we're going to have to make use of the scoring opportunities when we get them, and if we can, obviously control the pace of the game.
You know, we talked earlier about the winning on Friday nights on our home rink. How much of that also goes to the crowd? Because we draw very well at home, and you know, they seem to be in it, and it seems like our players really feed on that.
Well, I agree, and I think you can ask Austin about that more than me, but our fans are awesome. I mean, we have the best fans in the MIAC. I know they have a little bit of advantage having the rink on campus where other people have to leave, but there's nowhere else that we see the number of fans that we see at our games, and they're vocal and they like to be a part of it, and there is no doubt it helps the atmosphere of the game, and I do think that's a big reason why the pace of our games at home is so much higher. When there's no atmosphere in the visitors' arenas, it's awful tough to keep that pace up.
Real quick, Bill, time for one more question here, and that is, tell us about how the recruiting trail has gone for you this year. I know you can't talk specifics necessarily, but you know, has this been a busy recruiting year for you? What are you looking to bring in?
No, not really, because we only graduate the two players. So this has been a year that we've looked more at the 1999 birth years for next year. But in the same respect, we feel like we've got a really solid class. We've got 3 or 4 forwards coming in, and again, I say 3 or 4 because there's 4 right now, but if any of them get Division I scholarships between now and the end of the season, we could lose them. But right now, we're looking for 1 goaltender, a couple of defensemen, and 3 forwards. So that would be an ideal scenario for us.
Donnie, the 1999 birth year, that's not us. Right?
No, that is definitely not us.
Well, Bill, thanks for coming on the show, and hey, good luck this weekend. I hope to talk to you and we can talk some playoffs. Hopefully.
Sounds awesome.
All right, stay tuned. Austin Arnold from the men's hockey team. He'll be in next here on the Cardinals Nest on HBC.
If your home is like mine, everything begins and ends on the internet. In fact, the average home now uses 7 wireless devices each day. Make sure you have the bandwidth for homework, live chats, and streaming with fast, reliable internet from broadband.
Power all your devices with HBC high-speed internet and get up to 1,000 megabits per second. Lightning-fast internet that fits all your family's needs. So call or visit hbci.com today.
What's a Southern girl? It's waking up before the sun rises. It's loving the simple things in life like the dirt roads that lead you home. It's working hard to get what you want. It's hanging your own stands, breaking your own ground, and strategizing every little move for that one moment when everything you've worked for is standing right in front of you. Even if I fail a million times, I keep pushing myself till I'm exhausted, filthy, and about to give up. And that's when the adrenaline hits.
Don't miss out on highlights and score updates from your favorite local college and high school athletics by following HBC TV 25 Sports. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram to get up-to-date information on all the games covered by the HBC sports team. Grab your smartphone and add us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at HBC TV 25 Sports.
Be sure to check out US Golf TV, where you are going to see golf products that you have never seen before. You're also going to see golf tips from some of the leading instructors around the country that are truly changing the way people are teaching the game and challenging the status quo. Also, you're going to see fitness tips that are revolutionizing the way PGA Tour pros are training their body and swinging the golf club. If you want something different, if you're looking for some new information, US Golf TV has it. Be sure to check your local listings. US Golf TV, we've got you covered.
I'm Lance Garrick with Computers on the Go. I mainly support small businesses in the area with their IT. I've got clients that use multiple locations and we connect them back using virtual private networks. I've always recommended HBC to my clients so that we can have safe, reliable service and not have any downtime. And in order for that to work, I have to have a reliable, secure, fast internet connection, and HBC's always provided that for me.
Contact HBC about our lightning-fast home and business internet connections today.
Stay up to date with Winona Area Public Schools by watching Making the Grade here on HBC TV 25, presented by Cost Cutters. Join me, Superintendent Rich Dahman, each month for interviews with administrators, district staff, and students. Tune in to Making the Grade Monday through Friday here on HBC TV 25, brought to you by Cost Cutters of Winona, located in the professional building in the Winona Mall Annex.
Today's households are using more connected devices than ever before. TVs are streaming, smartphones are browsing, security cameras are watching, and virtual assistants are, well, assisting.
You'll need an umbrella today.
As you add more devices, we are constantly improving our technology to deliver the fastest and most reliable internet to your home. So make sure you have enough bandwidth.
Get blazing fast speeds up to 1 gig from HBC. Call 888-474-9995 today.
And we continue with our feature of men's hockey here on the Cardinals Nest. Dean Beckman, Donnie Netto, our sports information director, and Austin Arnold. Austin is a senior captain defenseman on the men's hockey team here in 2018 and 19. And Austin, you're from Anchorage, Alaska.
That is correct.
You've got to be looking at us Minnesotans who complain about all of this snow, right, and kind of scoffing at us, right?
Yeah, I think we got a little more here than we do back home, but
really,
yeah.
Really, okay. Well, that's something to be
Yes,
proud of, I guess.
okay, yeah. Proud, yeah.
Yeah.
So, Austin, you are from Anchorage. So
yes.
Tell us a little bit about your upbringing, how you sort of got interested in playing hockey, and then eventually how you found your way down to Winona, Minnesota.
Yeah, so I started playing hockey when I was about 5 years old. My dad was always a big hockey fan growing up, and he played a little bit through high school, so naturally he got me into that. And then I played AAA in high school all the way until my senior year, and then right after my senior year, I went down to Kenai River Brown Bears in the North American League and spent time as an affiliate player there. And then the year after that, actually the next 2 years after that, I spent my last 2 years of juniors out in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. So
Okay.
I've kind of been all over the,
yeah. So one question I always, and then how did you find your way to St. Mary's?
So actually my first year, or my year in Kenai, we had our main camp up in Inver Grove Heights, and Coach Moore actually came and did a little speech about Division III hockey and kind of talked about St. Mary's. So that was my first taste of it. And then what brought me to St. Mary's is that I knew Jude Warner and Kellen Wassell. I played with them both in Kenai. And Bill came out and talked to me in the last year of juniors, and he knew that I knew them, so I reached out to them, and they had nothing but great things to say about the hockey program and the school, so it was an easy decision.
And they must have said good things about you, too.
I hope so.
Because here you are, and now you're a captain on this year's team.
Talk a little bit about the progression. You know, we talk about this with all people that come in as freshmen. Now, granted, as a junior player, you're a little bit older, so the maturity level is a little bit higher. But talk a little bit about how the game changed for you from leaving juniors to your freshman year to now your senior year.
Coming in, I wasn't really too sure what to expect hockey-wise. I knew that it was going to be a little bit faster, guys were going to be a little bit stronger. So, yeah, my freshman year came in, was in and out of the lineup a bit. A little bit of a learning curve to start, but I ended up catching up onto it. And then sophomore year, I didn't play as much. I think part of it, I thought that I was going to come in and, you know, just as you move up the chain, you get your spot in the lineup, but that wasn't the case, as we had a really skilled freshman class coming the next year. And then I just kind of figured out that you have to put in the work, you have to show up every day, every practice, every game, and put in the work to be able to stick in the lineup.
So a captain on this year's team and a defenseman, and one of the things I wanted to ask you is, and I don't want you to show us your bruises, but talk about your ability to block shots. I was talking with one of your teammates earlier, and he said you are exceptionally skilled at blocking shots.
I don't know if blocking shots is a skill. I always joke around and say it's the easiest part of hockey. You just gotta be willing to get in the way. So, I mean, it's whatever you can do to help the team, and I mean.
Well, and you heard Coach Moore earlier talk about the penalty killing being so much better this year. Maybe what do you see as far as why that's improved so much?
Yeah, I think blocking shots as a four-man unit, or five including the goalie, but I think this year everyone's a lot more willing to step in front of those shots, just to play a little more grittier to keep the puck out of our net.
I know it's going to be a hard question to answer just because it is you, but you got the C on your jersey. That's an important thing. It's not just a C there to look nice. It's pretty cool, but talk a little bit about the importance of being the captain and what to you that means.
It was a huge honor. Yeah, like having your peers vote you like that means a lot. So, I mean, I like to think that I got voted for that for a reason. So this year I tried not to change too much of how I acted as a leader, and I might have to speak up a little more and try to hold guys more accountable, but I just like to think that I got to just keep doing what I was doing.
Right, and I think as captain, you know, there's great times with that, and then there's also those difficult moments where you might have to speak up or hold somebody accountable. How do you try to balance that and know when to say something to someone that says, hey, you got to kind of pick things up here a little bit?
Well, it makes it a lot easier with the leadership group, and not only Kyle, me, and Andrew Cummings, who are the two alternate captains, but just the junior class as a whole. They've made my job a lot easier by kind of when things are quiet and I have nothing to say, they step up and say what's needed. So it's made my job a lot easier in that aspect.
Let's talk a little bit about this weekend. St. Olaf this weekend, playoffs are on the line. As the captain, how do you go into Friday night now, making sure that everybody stays on an even keel? You're not too high, you're not too low. How do you approach, if you've thought about it yet, how do you approach your role as the captain getting this team ready for Friday?
I think the key is just to look at it as another game. You can't get too, we have a saying, can't get too high, can't get too low, where, yeah, you want to be excited for this weekend, like playoffs are on the line, but you don't want to get overexcited and stray away from our game plan. So I know this week in practice has been really competitive so far, been great pace, so as long as we just keep that up and do what we need to do, I think we'll be okay.
So, Austin, this is your last regular season weekend. We hope it's not the last weekend. Have you given thought to that and what that means? And I know it's kind of surreal, probably, right? But your season eventually here will come to an end. And what are your thoughts on that?
I just like to take it day by day. I'm sure it'll hit me a little more Friday after the game, realizing that I'm not going to be able to play in front of our fans in a faculty like that, but no, I mean, it's been a great 4 years here, and I wouldn't change it for the world.
Now, you've got this guy here who always asks for those senior salutes, right? So how long was your senior salute? I've seen them like a page long, and I've seen them like 10 pages long.
I don't. Mine's definitely not 10 pages.
Okay.
But no, I mean, I wanted to go right at the first time, sat down for about an hour. I maybe had half a paragraph written down, then ended up deleting it. So it's definitely, it's very difficult.
I always think, it's something that's very important because it gives the athletes the opportunity to stop and think and to kind of look back on their careers here and we joke about the 10-page ones because there really are some that are 10 pages, but it's their seniors. It's Austin's opportunity to say thanks to his maybe it's his high school coach or his junior coaches or his parents. They sacrifice, probably as much as he did. I think it's important, and it is interesting to hear people, and I kind of appreciated what Austin said, where it was, I thought about it, I got about a paragraph, and I had to stop and really think, because it's a chance for them to, to stop and smell the roses, because you only get one senior day, and you want them to cherish that too.
So, Austin, maybe reflect on this season a little bit here. Got off to a rough non-conference start because you were playing like the #1 team in the country. It felt like every other week. But now as conference play has started, I think those non-conference tough opponents really helped you during the conference season. So what's your perspective on how this year has gone and hopefully you can keep it going in the playoffs here?
Yeah, well, you guys might know more than I do how many freshmen we have.
Yeah, it's substantial.
Yeah, probably over half our roster, half our roster is freshmen. So we knew going in that there's going to be a little bit of a learning curve having that many guys step into the lineup and play major roles right away. But with that tough schedule, like Coach Moore said, we had the #1 hardest schedule throughout Division III hockey this first through Christmas. So I think that helped us in the long run. That we got in those tough games. And I don't think there's a single game where we got blown out. We were competitive through the whole thing. So as frustrating as it was to lose a couple games where we think we should have won, it was a great learning experience, and hopefully it leads into the playoffs.
Now that we got Coach Moore off of the camera and we get to talk to you, he said some very nice things about you, what you've meant to this team. Let's flip the table a little bit and talk a bit about what Coach Moore brings to this team and how important he is to the success that this program is having.
Yeah, I think you could ask any guy that has played here for Coach Moore. If it wasn't for his bad knee and back, I think he would run through a wall just for about anyone that came through here. And for me, that's very contagious. It makes me want to go out of my way for not only the guys on my team, but just for the community and all that kind of stuff. So
And I think, you know, he walks the walk, doesn't he? He says he cares about you, and then he proves it through multiple actions every year, right?
Exactly.
You know, as the faculty athletic representative at St. Mary's, I always like to ask you about your academics at St. Mary's. So you're a business intelligence and analytics major, so tell us what you hope to do in the near future here.
Well, I'm also a sports management major. As for that, your answer is probably as good as mine.
But you don't have to know right now. I think most people graduating in May probably don't know where they're going yet or what they're doing.
No, I would love to do something on the business side of sports. I know our alumni Brad Hauser had an internship with the Minnesota Wild with their marketing department, and then actually just moved out to Boston this year. I think that would be awesome, like a great experience for me. So, not sure if that's doable, but I guess we'll find out.
So what advice would you give to somebody who's currently playing junior hockey, right? And they're looking to keep their career going by going to a collegiate program. What sort of advice do you have, both from a playing standpoint, but also from an academic perspective?
Yeah, you just got to talk to people. You got to know the right fit for you before you start looking for schools. I know I was looking for more of a smaller, tight-knit community where classroom size maybe a little bit smaller, so it'll help me academically. Yeah, I mean it's different for everyone. So,
you know, one of the things we talked to Coach Moore about was winning these games at home. You know how you've split a lot of weekend series, but you always tend to win that Friday home game. And he brought up how supportive our fans are. What's that like playing at home, and do you think that's part of the reason you've been a little more successful on Fridays?
It definitely helps us. I know since my freshman year here, the crowds seem to get a little bigger, a little louder every year. So and there's going to play at all the other schools throughout the MHKY. There's not many other schools that get the support like we do, so it's a huge help for us.
You're not the only student athlete we have from Anchorage, Alaska. But you all have one other thing in common, and I want you to talk a little bit about it, and that is you all love Moose's Tooth Pizza. Oh. And I can testify to it's phenomenal. But talk a little bit about Alaska and Moose's Tooth, because it is unbelievable.
I've never heard of this pizza, so educate me.
Yeah, it's not your traditional pizza place, but they just got great, they got great beers, they got great pizza, and there's just an atmosphere in there. It's pretty unique. So. No, it's always the first meal I get when I get home and the last one I get before I come back here. So
it's the Rocco's of Anchorage.
Okay.
Yeah,
you've been there.
Oh yeah, I've been there many times actually. Yeah, it is a great pizza, and I had to bring that up just because it is.
Yeah.
And you know, I mean, I've been fortunate enough to go to Alaska a couple of times, and it's an amazing place to go. I would recommend it to anybody to visit Alaska. And I know that Austin, when he found out we were going up there last summer, he had reached out to me and said, hey, if you need any guidance in what to do, reach out. And that, again, it just shows the kind of people that Coach Moore has brought into this program.
Came up in that
it absolutely did.
All right, Austin Arnold, our senior captain on the men's hockey team. Best of luck against St. Olaf this weekend, and as you head into graduation, too.
Yep. So. Thanks, guys, for having me.
All right, that's going to do it for the Cardinals Nest here on HBC TV 25. Thanks for watching.